Welcome back to Cryptogains for another video. In this video, I want to give you some technical analysis on Bitcoin, show you what I see in the... what? Proper British, innit? What I see in the charts. If it sounded interesting, drop that like, give me a subscribe if you're new watching. I'm just going to keep it simple and clean in this chart. Well, try to make it look clean. I did these lines months ago. You're looking at the Bitcoin chart on the weekly time frame. You can see here the W 1 week. I'm using the Bitcoin index chart, which, you know, you change it to crypto, search Bitcoin, and I'm using this index chart, right? And the reason I'm using it is because it usually gives more data. And what I'm using as well is the EMA ribbons, the exponential moving average ribbons. Is that right? You can click on indicators here. Is it no. You click on this little square here, and then you can come down. MA, moving average exponential ribbon. You click on that, and then it comes up. Very simple to do, and I really think you should do so. What does it do? Well, you know, it looks for two things. It catches trend reversals, and on top of that, you can get a good insight as to where the price of Bitcoin may hold support. And what I look for is the tangle in the ribbons. So you've got all the ribbons here, all different colors and stuff, and the tangle, and I'm using it on a weekly time frame, so it's going to be harder to see the tangle, but it does happen often. And obviously, the higher up you go in the time frame, the less likely you are to see tangles happen often. So this is an example of a tangle, right, where the yellow line is coming down, it's crossing all the ribbons, tangle, and then we see a reverse in the trend where everything starts to go bearish. And you can see here in an instance, look, where the tangle crossed again, where we see this yellow line starts to come up, all the ribbon starts to tangle, and then it goes above, and then price action starts to rise up in price. So it is good for catching trends and looking for like places where Bitcoin may get rejected or support, right? And sometimes people use it on the daily time frame to trade. I'll just quickly switch it to the daily so you can see more not often you get to see more tangles and stuff, and more switches in the trend and stuff, right? Or price action here because of the tangles. But really keep it clean, right, I'm going to use this weekly time frame. Let me show you what I see, because I drew this falling wedge, and that's what you're seeing here, falling wedge, where price action bounces in between it, this wedge, and then we see price action go up and down. Back then, I wasn't sure if it was going to play out or not, but what you can do with a falling wedge, this doesn't look 100% precise, is if it was to occur and you see a falling wedge play out, you could draw a line from top to bottom from where you're seeing this falling wedge. How did I draw it before? This line looks a bit smaller, but anyway. And then you can kind of position it and work out where the price could go if a falling wedge was to play out. So, you know, in this case, it broke out here. It's coming up actually higher than this. So I'm going to move this yellow line up, just based on what I'm seeing on the falling wedge, right? And it looks like if it was to play out as a falling wedge and price action breaks out of the falling wedge, we could see Bitcoin's price potentially come up to this line here, right? And that's about $63,000. Is it going to happen? I don't know. Time's going to tell. But I just wanted to, you know, show you what I had drawn here from months ago. I don't know why it looks different now. Maybe I was using it on like a monthly, I don't know. Let me have a look at the monthly time frame. Sometimes it shows a different picture. Maybe I was using, I don't know, maybe I was using on using it on a monthly. But I'm going to come to the monthly in a second because I'm seeing something important. So, you know, you can mark that if you like, the 63,000. I'm going to delete that completely just for now. Mark it if you like, but let's just pay attention to these ribbons, because this is what I'm paying attention to. So, you know, we've seen price action underneath it for the longest time. We finally broke above, and we might now in the future start to see these ribbons tangle and come up like this, just like what we saw in the past. You know, here's a fine example. Look, we saw these ribbons tangle, and then price bounces above it, and it remains above. As just like this yellow line remains above, you know, we see price action come. And this was the last hype cycle that we saw, the massive bull cycle where all price was just going crazy. Notice the yellow line on top, right? So this is what I'm thinking here. We might get the tangle, yellow line comes up, and then price just goes crazy. But time will tell, right? Let's take a look at the monthly time real quick. The monthly time frame. Have a look here, look, because this speaks a different story. When we broke these ribbons right here, this is where we saw the bottom of the market. Like I said, depending on what kind of length you have this on, is going to show you a different outcome on the ribbons, meaning like how more efficient it is for trend reversals. So, you know, because I'm doing it on a monthly time frame, you might not pick up a huge trend reversal on this, because, you know, when you look at it like this, Bitcoin has actually been in a bullish trend all this time. What do I mean? On the monthly time frame with the ribbons, look, you know, we've not seen a single ribbon cross, not a single tangle. You know, the yellow's been above the entire time, right? And this is on a logarithmic scale. I just changed it to logarithmic, which is why you saw me drag it out, because I want to show you this. Even though we saw the bottom of the cycle, which happens often, by the way. Hold on, what's this stupid stuff coming up? Even though we saw the bottom of the cycle, you know, here we saw it here. Take a look at where the price of the candles are, because this month closed above these ribbons, this yellow line, right? So for me, I feel like this is a bullish sign. And you can see here right now, we are tackling these ribbons right here. Look, you can see we're holding support on this top line. Should it come down, where would it fall to? Well, I would expect that it would go as low as the red ribbon down here at the lowest, which is set about $23,700. I'll draw a line, and then I'll explain another reason as to why it could sort of go down there as well. But this could be a bullish sign, because, you know, you're seeing a candle here that's going to be closed above. But time will tell, you know, to see what really happens, if we're going to see a nice price pump up, or if it's going to fall back down and, you know, get resistance of this ribbon, you know, because sometimes it can happen. It can fall back down. So let me come back onto the weekly time frame. Look at this. If you have a look at the ribbons, right, it could hold support on the ribbons if it was to fall down in price. Meaning, if we now see a little sell-off because it's exhausted, you know, we've been having this crazy rally from right down here, you know, because we went from $16,000 right up to like $29,000. It could make sense that we see a little healthy correction pullback. It could come down and test these ribbons down here, and have a look at where these ribbons are, right? Look at where the yellow is, where it's starting to, you know, starting to curve around and come back up. It's all right down here. So anywhere around here could be a place where we see Bitcoin's price fall down to and then bounce off it in the future. And again, that marks about $23,300 on the right-hand side here, right? So that's the mark that I'm looking for if it was to fall based on these ribbons, okay? 23,000 is where you see the price of Bitcoin fall down to, and then eventually it will take off and go again. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm just going to leave it here, plain and simple. Just wanted to show you the ribbons. What do you think is going to happen? Drop your comments down below. Do you think we're bullish? Are we bearish? Are we going down to 12K? Are we going to 100K? Are we going to this $63,000? You let me know. I'm interested to know what people think. But, you know, again, this on the monthly time frame is really interesting, because not once have we seen Bitcoin in a bearish pattern on the monthly time frame with these ribbons. Bullish, 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 just riding it like a wave. This would have been the closest, you know, had we seen a tangle, but we haven't seen a tangle yet. So yeah, guys, thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Cheers.